So yesterday I did a little video about the create your own reality law of attraction thing, pointing out the obvious philosophical problems and the moral problems as well. And I got a little pushback, which was completely predictable. In fact, the exchange that I had with this random dude was also very predictable. Follows a pattern that I've seen before. I've had the same basic argument discussion before. And the thing that struck me, one of the things that struck me, is that the person is always forced to double down on their blame the victim cruelty. The worldview is all-encompassing. If you create your own reality, everyone else does the same. They create the good and the bad. So when you say, well, what about the child with bone cancer or the abused child or the person who was hit by a car and now they're paralyzed, a drunk driver, maybe they have cancer. When you bring that up, they're forced to say, well, yes, they brought that upon themselves. In fact, Esther Hicks has even explicitly and publicly blamed the Jews for the Holocaust, for bringing that upon themselves. So the person kind of rationalizes this by saying, well, it's just the law. It's the way things work. In fact, you've heard the phrase law of attraction, coined by Prentice Mulford and popularized by Napoleon Hill. But it's not a law. A law is something that can be proven scientifically, that occurs and again. Under any circumstances, it's repeatable. So one of the things that struck me about the exchange is that this worldview is explicitly religious. And the person who holds this position usually approaches the argument like a fundamentalist. They say things like, well, I'm just sorry you haven't seen the truth yet. You don't quite understand it. And you can say, no, I understand it quite well. I just don't agree with it. No, you don't quite understand it. One of these days you'll see. And like in an exchange with a fundamentalist person, you cannot disavow this person of their beliefs through logic, because they didn't arrive at those conclusions through logic. They arrived through faith or through emotion or through intuition. Just like a conspiracy theorist or a cult member, they haven't arrived there in a rational sense, so you're not going to rationalize them out of that position. And the create your own reality thing is also like a religion, in that fundamentally what it does is it just offers an accounting of why there is evil in the world, why bad things happen. All religions do this. In the Abrahamic religions, they say, well, it's God's will. In this version, they just say, well, it's everyone's individual will. In my mind, all religions fail pretty miserably at accounting for evil in the world or why bad things happen. Christianity, for example, if it's God's will for this 3-year-old to have bone cancer, well, that's pretty effed up. Likewise, if the 3-year-old is just not thinking correctly or is bringing that upon themselves, that's also messed up. Unfortunately, although it's not very satisfying philosophically, the most logical thing is to say, yeah, bad stuff happens. That's part of life. But also beautiful things happen. So I hope you're noticing that too. Have a good day.